Row 14 is where we're going to start decreasing our square, so this is as big as we want it to get. I mentioned in the beginning that I wasn't sure how big it was going to be, and I was just going to go with it because I don't mind. And measuring this across, it's about 7 inches. It's about 7 inches by about 7 inches because it's a square. So it's on the smaller side for a washcloth size. That's really easy to fix, and I will do it in the written pattern just by adding more white around it. But I'm going to have this size available too because I know that some people like smaller washcloths that are around 7 inches. We're also going to add a border around it, which is going to give us about 1/4 of an inch widthwise and lengthwise. And you could always add on more rounds to get a bigger size washcloth as well. Alright, I'm going to show you how to decrease. Up until now, we've been increasing by starting with the chain 4 and then working down the chain to create a box. Now that we're about to start decreasing, this top edge is going to be our final edge. And this bottom side edge, that's going to be our side edge. As we've increased, we've gained a box in each row. Now we're going to start decreasing, so we're going to lose a box in each row up until we get to 1 box in the top right corner. So for the beginning of each row, we're going to start it exactly the same as this. We're going to chain 1 and turn. Then we're going to skip the first stitch and slip stitch into the second stitch. We're also going to slip stitch into the third stitch. That chain 1 gives us the slack we need to skip that first stitch and work into the second stitch and keeps the height even. So at the beginning of each new row, we're going to do this. We're going to chain 1, turn, and slip stitch into the second and third stitches. Then we'll chain 1, and we're ready to start our first box here. Just the same as you would any other box, 3 half double crochets there in the space in between those stitches. Slip stitch into the top of the next box and continue on. This edge looks a little bit wonky, but you can use your fingers to manipulate the fabric to get a straighter edge. Also, we're going to add that border, which is going to help hide any unevenness that we have there. Let me get my tails on the right side. So we've slip stitched over and we've worked our first box in white. We're going to continue working 1 more box in white, so there's 2. Then we'll have 5 black, 2 red, 1 white, 1 black, and 1 white. Now we need to work one white box. So I have one white tail attached here on the left, and I have one white tail attached here on the right. And I need to introduce one more white tail, so I need to fasten off one of these ends so I can attach it here. The easiest one to take is going to be this one on the left, because I have one white, one black, and one white. And right after I finish this black one, that'll be the last one, and then they'll all be white after that. So I only need enough here for one more box. So I'm going to go ahead and pull from this left box as much as I think I might need for the box. And I might be pulling a little bit extra, but better to have too much than not enough. And then I'm just going to fasten off. This is a great time because you're fastening off to untangle your yarn mess if you've got a mess like I do. So here's the tail end that I cut off. I'm going to leave enough to weave in and make a loop there and put that on my hook and pull it through. Here I've worked my last box, and we're going to slip stitch to the top of the next box just as we normally would. But we're stopping here. We're not adding an additional box in the top because that's as big as we want our washcloth to be. This is row 14, 2 white boxes, 5 black boxes, 2 red boxes, 1 white box, 1 black box, and 1 white box. And now the brim of our washcloth is finished. We have 1 more red box here for our ribbon to be finished. Then we'll fill in the top of the hat and the rest of the white. Row 15 is going to be 3 white boxes, 1 red box, 6 black boxes, and 1 white box. I'll show you how to come over again here. We chain 1, turn our fabric, skip the first stitch, slip stitch into the second stitch, and into the third stitch. There's our edge. You can use your fingers to make it even. Then chain 1 and you're ready to work your first box of the row. When I fastened this yarn off, I thought I was going to continue. For some reason I thought I was going to be continuing with this white that I added on. Really, I needed enough white to work at least 2 boxes, which I had enough, and I have a little bit left over. But since I'm about to run out of this yarn shortly, I'm going to go ahead and switch to this new white that I had added, so I won't have to add on later. And there's my 3 white boxes. I'm going to go ahead and fasten off this first white tail that I was working with to make it shorter so it doesn't tangle here, and I'll pull the rest of it out, which wasn't much. And now I'll continue here with my 1 red box. And before I slip stitch that, I'm just pulling up a loop so I don't lose it. I'm going to go ahead and fasten off the red because now I'm finished using it. And I'm going to finish off the black from the brim as well. And then I can untangle it from the rest. And there's row 15. We have 3 white boxes, 1 red box, 6 black boxes, and 1 white box. For row 16, we're going to have 1 white box, 6 black boxes, and 3 white boxes. Row 16 is finished. We had 1 white box, 6 black boxes, and 3 white boxes. Row 17 is going to be 3 white boxes, 5 black boxes, and 1 white box. Row 17 is finished. We have 3 white boxes, 5 black boxes, and 1 white box. Row 18 is going to be 1 white box, 4 black boxes, and 3 white boxes. And there's row 18, 1 white box, 4 black boxes, and 3 white boxes. Row 19 is going to be 3 white boxes, 3 black boxes, and 1 white box. And there's row 19. We had 3 white boxes, 3 black boxes, and 1 white box. Row 20 is going to be 1 white box, 2 black boxes, and 3 white boxes. And there's row 20. We had 1 white box, 2 black boxes, and 3 white boxes. Row 21 is going to finish off our snowman hat. We have 3 white boxes coming, 1 black box right here, and then 1 white box. And after I finish this black box, I'm going to go ahead and fasten off the black. Row 21 is finished with 3 white boxes, 1 black box, and 1 white box. As I said, I'm going to go ahead and fasten off the black now. I'm also going to fasten off the white from the 3 white boxes that we worked in that row, because I will no longer need to switch to it. I can finish everything out with the white that I just finished my last box in. So I can pull out the black there, and I can pull out the strand of the white I just fastened off. And now I'm just going to finish out my washcloth by decreasing in every row. So right now I'm about to slip stitch over, and then I'll have 1, 2, 3, 4 boxes. And then I'll slip stitch over and I'll have 3 boxes, and I'm going to end up with just 1 box here. There's the very last box of my washcloth. So I started in this bottom left corner over here, even though we saw it this way with all the ends facing us. This is the right side, the front of the washcloth that we are going, this is going to be the front of the washcloth. So our first box is down here on the left, and our last box is up here on the right corner. And the whole little hat is finished and it's adorable. And now it's time to just finish this washcloth off with a border. My washcloth is measuring 7 inches across. If you'd like to make your washcloth even bigger, you can add additional rounds. I'm going to work my border in the white that's already attached here, but it would look really cute if you did a round of white, a round of red, a round of black, or even just a border in the red alone. So if you wanted to switch to a different color, you could just fasten off white and then reattach whatever color you're going to use into one of the spaces in between the boxes and start with a single crochet there. If you are a tight crocheter, you may want to go up to an I9 5.5 millimeter crochet hook just for this edging. Otherwise your fabric might bunch up. You have to work this edge loosely. So I'm going to chain 1. Then I'm going to insert my hook into that space in between the boxes that's right behind me. So it will feel a little weird because we are so used to working forward, but this is the closest box, so we're gonna just insert our hook into that space below, yarn over, pull through. We have 2 loops on our hook, yarn over, pull through both loops. That is a single crochet. We'll be single crocheting in the border here. Chain 1. Insert your hook into the space in between the next 2 boxes. Yarn over, pull through. 2 loops on our hook. Yarn over, pull through both loops. Chain 1. Insert your hook into the space in between the next 2 boxes. Yarn over, pull through. 2 loops, yarn over, pull through both loops. And that's how we're going to continue working our border, just loosely chain 1 and single crochet into the space in between boxes. And now we've reached our corner here. I've worked my single crochet into the space in between these 2 boxes. I'm going to chain 1. I'm going to insert my hook into the very top corner of this last stitch. And when I do that, I want to pick up 2 loops. So I'm just inserting my hook here, and I have 2 loops from that stitch on my hook, and complete a single crochet. Then I'm going to chain 1, turn my washcloth, and I'm going to single crochet back into that same exact stitch. So there's 2 single crochets and a chain 1 in that corner stitch. Then I will chain 1 and continue single crocheting into the space in between boxes here. And we just have to be careful where we're inserting our hook, because I just inserted it here, but the actual space is to the left of that. So you'll see your 3 half double crochets there, and you want to insert your hook after that into the space in between the boxes. Now we've come to another corner. We do the same exact thing. I've worked my last single crochet in between those two boxes, chain 1, insert my hook into the corner stitch, and this is where our beginning tail is, and I'm just pulling the tail on the right side and downward. This gives me a better stitch to work into here. Complete a single crochet, chain 1, work one more single crochet into that stitch. So there are 2 single crochets and a chain 1 in that stitch. Then I'll chain 1 and continue, and I'm going to do this until I get all the way back to the beginning. I have reached the last corner, and this one I work it a little bit differently. So I've just worked my last single crochet in between these two boxes, chain 1. I would normally work here into the corner stitch. This would be the first half double crochet. But if you do that, then this corner is uneven because this is a lower stitch. So I'm actually going to work this last corner into the middle half double crochet because it's up higher. And same chain 1, single crochet back into that stitch. And now this is our first single crochet of the round. We're going to slip stitch join, insert your hook into that first stitch, picking up both loops, yarn over, pull through that stitch and the loop that's on our hook. I'm just pulling up a loop here so I don't lose it yet. The border is finished. The washcloth just needs to have its ends weaved in. If you want to work another round, you can do that by chaining 1 here, single crochet into that single crochet into the next chain 1 space, single crochet into the next chain 1, continue all the way down. In the chain 1 space of each corner, you'll work a single crochet, chain 1, single crochet. Once you're all the way back, you slip stitch join to the first single crochet like we just did. This is a great opportunity where you can make this washcloth a little bit bigger if that's what you want, or if you wanted to switch to red and just work one more round in the red, it would look really cute, or one round in red and another round in white, so you have that red sandwiched in the middle. There's a lot of opportunities here, but I'm finished. I'm just doing that one round of the border. I think I might embellish this washcloth a little bit here, maybe with some leaves. I'm not really sure. I'm going to weave in my ends and then I'm going to look back at this. But if you're happy with your hat, you like the way it is, and you don't want to add anything to it, then just weave in your ends and you're all set. So going back here where I slip stitched 2, I'm going to go ahead and fasten off my yarn. Then I'll pull up on that loop to break it. Then I'm going to insert from the wrong side into that same stitch I just slip stitched 2. And pull this yarn tail through so it's on the back side. And now I'm going to get my tapestry needle and I'm going to show you how to weave in your ends. Alright, I have a ton of ends to weave in, but I'm going to show you just a couple. Here's my tapestry needle and I'm going to thread one of my ends in there. And now I'm just going to weave vertically through this box above, or you could weave into this box below. I'm going to insert my needle. I'm not going to insert my needle underneath the whole stitch. I want to break this stitch in half when I insert my needle so that it catches my yarn. And then I'll weave my needle in under several stitches, and when I come out, I'm also going to break the yarn in half so that it catches my yarn. There's one pass, and I can turn my fabric here, and now I'm going to work another pass. In the same direction I came from, I'm going to insert my needle into the center of a stitch nearby. Then I'll insert my needle back through several of the stitches I just worked through. And when I come out, I'm going to break that thread in half. There's 2 passes. I do 3 passes. So I'm going to turn my fabric. And I'll go into a nearby stitch. You see here I'm going through the red. You're not going to see it from the right side, so it's fine. Work back through stitches that I already worked through, and then break the end I'm coming out of in half as well. Then I'll tug on that, and if you feel secure, I feel good, 3 passes my magic number, I feel like my yarn is secure in there, fasten it off. If you feel like it's a little bit loose, go ahead and work another pass. I'll show you one more. I've threaded my needle up here. Now I'm going to work through the box here and into the next box upwards. Whatever natural way you think the yarn is going to flow, that's how I recommend doing it. And I always, every time I insert my needle and every time I bring the needle out, I break a stitch in half. This is what helps to catch the yarn so it's secure. And if you feel like your fabric is bunching because you pulled too tight at any point, just use your fingers and manipulate the fabric so that it lays flat. So I just hold the fabric that I've weaved into in between my thumb and my middle finger on the other side, and then I give it a tug. And now I'm happy with that, so I'll fasten it off. And when you fasten off, try not to do it too close. You don't want any chance of cutting the other stitches that are there. If it has a little bit sticking out, when you pull on the fabric or when it's washed or used, that little piece will get tucked into the fabric. I'm going to go ahead and weave in all the rest of these ends off camera. Now that my ends are weaved in, I am still thinking about if I'm going to embellish this or not. If I do, I will post it in a separate video and provide the link in the description. For now, thank you so much for watching my video. Find the written pattern for this washcloth and a couple other sizes on my blog, iloveknots.com, as well as a colored chart. Please smash that like button and hit subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next video.